Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Silver Years. My name is DK, and I'm very happy to be here. And I humbly thank you for joining me. I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about today because there's been so much going on inside of me and around me. Some might say I'm feeling the clearing effects of the eclipses this month, and that could certainly be. The lunar eclipse will semi darken our sky tomorrow night, which is August 27th, by the way, depending on when you're listening to this. Of course, from an astrological perspective, the eclipses are only one powerful aspect mucking with our reality at the moment, since we're currently being influenced by several major aspects, and some are even once in a lifetime. Yes, we are living in powerful times of change, if you haven't already noticed. The signs are everywhere, in the stars, in the numbers, in the prophecies, in the auguries, in the signs, in the messages coming in from whistleblowers, channelers, intuitives, star seeds, galactics, and the like. The signs are even in our own lives. The signs of change are coming in from everywhere we turn to look, and it can be overwhelming. It's hard to know where to focus your attention with so much information because much of it can be contradictory and very polarizing. It can bounce from love and light, and everything's working out for our highest and best, and all you have to do is keep your frequency high, to fear and suffering, where things are scary, bad, hopeless, negative, and toxic, and nothing we do can change the outcome. There are so many people out there who are sharing so many perspectives that are coming in from so many different directions, and they all can't possibly be right, can they? Well, maybe they can. And it all depends on you and where your focus, your point of attention, is directed. I then started to wonder, does any of this external input really matter? Does it matter? Well, yes, I personally do think that it matters, but only if I'm paying attention to it. To pay attention to it is to make it part of my reality by perhaps aligning with it, believing it, accepting it, being afraid of it, taking it under advisement, or living by it. That's when it matters. Only when it has my focus and attention. And I do feel that some of it is definitely worth my attention. I learned this the hard way after years of rabbit hole diving and exploration. Seems I've spent most of my life seeking the truth of things in one form or another, and I've learned a lot about our polarizing matrix system in the process. And that includes being better able to decipher what is real and what is false. For myself, anyway. I've developed my own personal bullshit meter, I guess you could say. But my interpretation of things may not be the same as yours. I get the fact that each of us explores in life what we're called to explore. We go in the directions that pull us or draw us in, and what interests or resonates with us and our level of consciousness at any given time. This is unique to your individual process, and wherever your focus resides will reflect where your level of consciousness is in that moment. And what you focus on will also be directly reflected in your daily life on the ground. Given this, I realized when contemplating this topic that the better question for me to ask was, where can I focus my point of attention during these powerful times of change to create a more balanced experience, something less polarized, something that doesn't suck me into a vortex of fear and fakery, something that can support me in living a healthy, balanced life when it seems almost impossible in a world that appears to be a chaotic hot mess of polarization, division, and suffering. The onslaught of information that pours into us on a daily basis is more than anyone can realistically absorb. Can you say information overload? From doom scrolling to mainstream news reporting to world predictions to alien invasions to war to economic collapses to data centers to chemtrails and weather warfare, fires, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, to water shortages, to inflation, to gas shortages, to toxic fake food, to child and human trafficking, to transhumanism, to fake pandemics, to homelessness. The lists are endless and little but information overload designed to create hopelessness, helplessness, and, well, apathy. We just become apathetic. It overwhelms. And frankly, can any of you end any of these things on your own? Can you? Can you end any of these things on your own? Aside from changing your viewing habits, meaning you can stop your doom scrolling or watching the mainstream news or watching anything else if you want to. You can also change what you buy and what you support with your spending habits. Can you stop an economic collapse from happening? Can you? Can you alone stop an economic collapse from happening? As an example. No, I didn't think so. No matter how much influencers out in cyber world may clamor on about getting rid of the evil on this planet or ending the source of evil and the polarization we contend with, I have to ask, would it make a difference if it all ended tomorrow? Would it? As a highly traumatized and programmed population who have been mind controlled to believe and behave in a certain way from birth, can we go from living a life in a chaotic hot mess of polarization, division, and suffering to living a life, a collective life of peace, unification, and abundance, and not revert back to the old ways? What would keep us from recreating the whole thing all over again simply because it's all we know? Because the truth is, we cannot create a new reality by using the same mentality that created the dysfunctional one. We have to change our mentality, our programming, to match the frequency of what we want to experience. And how do we do that? This is the part where we need to cut through all the chaos and get to the very core of every life, get to the heart of the matter. And who stands at the heart of it all? In the center of your life? You, the self. Everything in your world emanates from you and your beliefs and your perceptions. The only real power we hold is within us, and it's reflected in our reality through our conscious perceptions. The only real change we can affect is within. The only thing we can change is ourselves. Full stop. What this means to me is that the change we desire in our collective society must begin at the personal level. It begins within each individual being making the decision to heal within, heal their traumas and distortions in order to change the frequency of their experience. And no one can do that for you but you. No government or bureaucracy is going to legislate that into being. No savior is going to run interference or mediate away the distortions within us. If humanity wants to collectively experience a life of peace, unification, and abundance, then the frequency that matches what we want to experience needs to emanate from within us as an individual first. The whole is a sum of its parts, and each individual being is a part of the whole. I call it the collective. Thing is, if we continue to hold on to our unhealed personal traumas that energetically project distorted frequencies, nothing in our outer reality can change. It just can't. And we all have traumas and distortions to heal. All of us. We've been vigorously programmed and taught since birth, basically, to look outside of ourselves for fulfillment, answers, and solutions. We've been trained to believe that life's problems rest outside of us and not within us. Much of this programming is done through distraction and information overload. Anything to distract us with matrix nonsense in order to monopolize our focus and point of attention away from our internal selves and what we need for grounded balance. The matrix system has been waging a battle for the control of our consciousness for a long time, and it uses our energetic focus and point of attention to sustain itself. It doesn't need, care, or want us to heal anything because that would collapse the field that sustains it. To withdraw from giving the matrix our attention would be like pulling the plug on it. Imagine if everyone around you pulled the plug on the chaos of the world by turning their attention inward. Imagine. What do you think would happen? Where attention goes, energy flows. Where do you want your energy to flow? Because where your energy flows is the reality you're going to create. Everything in the world today is clamoring to keep our attention focused on what's happening around us and not on what's happening inside of us. And we can't change the outer world until we change our inner world. And that means healing ourselves. Not something many of us want to do because it's not the easy path. I get it. My girlfriend and I used to call this kind of inner healing doing the ugly because getting to know yourself and your wounds can be messy and uncomfortable. Yet, if we don't choose to neutralize the distortion we hold within, whatever the cause, that distortion will continue to be reflected in the reality around us. We will never escape it, ever. We can never escape it because, contrary to what we've been taught, we are the masters of this realm. It cannot exist without us. And what we create is on us. The responsibility is ours. And it's time we step up and neutralize our distortions like the true masters we are. Now, let me say, just as a reminder, that like most of the things I discuss on my channel, this topic is extremely multi layered and multifaceted, which means that it's not just one thing that makes it all so. It's many layers of things over time that has gotten us to where we are today. What I'm trying to shed light on here are simply some of the significant factors that I've observed when it comes to our individual and collective responsibility as a part of the whole to neutralize our frequency distortions by focusing our point of attention on whatever needs healing within us. It's a personal thing. And it's important to remember that what we don't clear in this lifetime will often be epigenetically passed onto our descendants as generational patterning and trauma. And is this what we want? All said, in the end, I feel it's our responsibility to get educated, to learn as much as we can about how we can improve our relationship with ourselves and what we need to emotionally heal. As a side note, those who have emotionally healed have been known to physically heal as a side effect. Something to consider. Try it out and watch for results. It begins and ends with us. So before I go, I'd like to leave you with a question to ponder, as I like to do. If you were to bring balance into your life by changing one thing, what would it be? Please leave your comments below. Also, I encourage you to please like and share this video if called to, and subscribe to this channel to help it grow. Your participation is greatly appreciated. So until next time, be well, choose love, and thank you. Thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.